Hello everyone, welcome to Research Academy. Today in this video we are going to talk about one criminal case recently has been upheld by Supreme Court. Now this case is related to circumstantial evidence, so definitely we're going to learn more about the circumstantial evidence and also the burden of proof regarding the circumstantial evidence on the prosecution case that we're going to learn, and all those aspects is in relation to one case, that is Krishna versus State. In this case we are going to learn the facts of the case, the laws that have been interpreted there, and also the circumstantial evidence, and we are going to learn the intricacies of the Evidence Act and also CRPC, the police confessions, and all those aspects that we will learn in detail. So this video is going to be very informative. Stay till the very end because we will decode this case alongside the law what has been interpreted in this case. So let's start the video. Now before starting the video, two very important things. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe to it and press the bell icon. And the second very important thing, if you haven't subscribed to the Telegram channel, do subscribe to it. And CLAT PG 2023 capsule course is going to be expired very soon. If you haven't enrolled in that, do that. The link is given below. Let's start with this case. Why we are understanding this case? क्यों ये केस हम लोग आज इस वीडियो के द्वारा हम लोग बात कर रहे हैं? The main factor is that in this particular case, the Krishna versus State, this case is very much important in relation to कि if any case which is totally based on the circumstantial evidence, where the burden of proof lies on the prosecution, then there is heavy duty on the prosecution side to case the proof, to link all the dots of the facts so that the circumstantial evidence is going to point towards the accused that he or she is guilty, and that's why we are understanding this case. Okay, so chalo, before getting into the facts of the case, आप लोगों से पहले मैं लॉ के बारे में बात करता हूँ, then facts के बारे में बात करूँगा, then court reasoning and everything that we're going to proceed further. So first let's understand the law. लॉ में अगर हम लोग पहले बात करें कि सर्कमस्टेंशियल एविडेंस होता क्या है? There are two kinds of evidence. One is circumstantial evidence and another one is direct evidence. अब यहाँ पर हम लोग दोनों एविडेंस के बारे में बात करेंगे इस केस में, बट पहले सर्कमस्टेंशियल एविडेंस होता क्या है वो पहले बात कर लेते हैं. Circumstantial evidence is that kind of evidence which is drawn from the inference. It is not based on any personal knowledge or observation. अगर मैं आपको एग्जांपल दूं, सपोज कोई एक क्राइम कमिट हुआ है जहां पर कोई वीकनेस नहीं है, बट in that case how it's going to be taken the circumstantial evidence कि जिसका मर्डर हुआ है वो लास्ट किसके साथ बात किया है, किसके साथ मीटअप किया है. सपोज जिसके साथ मीटअप किया है उस बंदे के साथ जिसका मर्डर हुआ है उसका कोई प्रीवियस कनेक्शंस या ग्रज या एनी पास्ट इंसिडेंट कुछ हुआ है या नहीं. उसके बाद क्राइम सीन में दैट पर्टिकुलर पर्सन के फिंगरप्रिंट्स अवेलेबल हो रहा है या नहीं. एंड बाय दैट ये हम लोग डॉट कनेक्ट करने की कोशिश करेंगे कि जिससे वो बात कर रहा था ऑफेंस के पहले वो एक्चुअली कन्विक्ट है या नहीं. दैट्स हाउ द सर्कमस्टेंशियल एविडेंस इज गोइंग टू बी very helpful to prove someone guilty. Now अभी आता है another very important provision in this case 161. Now 161 of the CRPC अगर आप देखोगे उसमें एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज के बारे में बात किया जाता है कि कोई भी पुलिस एग्जामिनेशन के दौरान कैसे एग्जामाइन कर सकता है कोई भी पर्सन को, कोई भी इन्वेस्टिगेशन के दौरान इट मस्ट बी डन ओरली और उसको रिटन में कन्वर्ट किया जाएगा, and the whole process can be done through audio electronic means also. That's what this simple 161 CRPC section talks about. It's a very powerful section that we're going to learn because it's related to police confession. Now another very important section जो इसके साथ मैचअप किया जाता है वो है सेक्शन 25 ऑफ द इंडियन एविडेंस एक्ट. Now सेक्शन 25 ऑफ द एविडेंस एक्ट ये बोला जाता है कि पुलिस कॉन्फेशन के दौरान जो कोई भी चीज अगर बोला जाता है तो दैट इज नॉट एडमिसिबल इन द कोर्ट ऑफ लॉ. सेक्शन 27 of the Indian Evidence Act, another very important section which is an exception to section 25 of the Indian Evidence Act, जिसमें ये बोला जाता है कि whatever has been said in the police confession के टाइम अगर कोई भी चीज अगर कोई इंसान बोलता है तो in that case whatever the statement that has been used that can be used to discover new facts, that facts can be used as evidence in the court of law. तो उसको ऐसे एविडेंस यूज किया जा सकता है, बट डायरेक्ट कॉन्फेशन को पुलिस के सामने जो कॉन्फेशन दिया जाता है उसको एज सेक्शन 25 एविडेंस नहीं माना जाएगा और एडमिशनेबल नहीं होगा. सो दीज आर द वेरियस लॉज दैट हैव बीन डिस्कस्ड इन दिस पर्टिकुलर केस. नाउ लेट्स गेट इनटू द फैक्ट्स ऑफ द केस. यहाँ पर जो फैक्ट्स के बारे में अगर हम लोग बात करेंगे, ये एक मर्डर केस है. एक 72 ईयर्स ओल्ड मैन के मर्डर हुआ है यहाँ पर एंड उसके एफआईआर लॉन्च किया गया था रात को. उसके बाद पोस्टमार्टम रिपोर्ट आता है. पोस्टमार्टम रिपोर्ट में बोला जाता है गला काट के उसका मर्डर किया गया है. ठीक है, दैट इज द सिंपल फैक्ट्स दैट आई नीड टू शेयर विद यू. नाउ इन्वेस्टिगेशन वाज स्टार्टेड रिगार्डिंग दैट. इन्वेस्टिगेशन के बाद 5 एक्यूज्ड को पकड़ा जाता है एंड आफ्टर द फॉर्मल अरेस्ट वन ऑफ द एक्यूज्ड नंबर 2 डोडा हनुमा उसका नाम, वो वीडियो कन्फेस करता है कि दे हैव मेड द क्राइम एंड कमिटेड द क्राइम एंड उसी कॉन्फेशन वीडियो कॉन्फेशन के द्वारा चार्जशीट बनाया जाता है. एंड चार्जशीट में सेक्शन 302, 396 डेकोइटी एंड ऑल्सो सेक्शन 34 को लगा के उन लोगों के अगेंस्ट में चार्ज किया जाता है एंड दे वर कन्विक्टेड अंडर सेक्शन 302. तो यू कैन वेरी वेल अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट. मर्डर के हिसाब से उन लोगों को कन्विक्ट किया गया. ट्रायल कोर्ट upheld the conviction as well as High Court also upheld the conviction. Now it's a matter of Supreme Court. When this case basically reached the Supreme Court, the one very important aspect the Supreme Court had to see whether this case has been proven beyond the reasonable doubt or not, because this case is based on the circumstantial evidence. And one very important factor that has to be taken care of in relation to circumstantial evidence, that prosecution has to prove the case beyond reasonable doubt. And that's where the case has been approached in the Supreme Court. And that is the main issue that we're going to talk about, whether the prosecution has proved the case beyond the reasonable doubt or not. That we're going to find out, and that's the main issue. Now, अभी अगर हम लोग कोर्ट रीजनिंग कोर्ट किस चीज के ऊपर डायरेक्टली फोकस किया है इस आंसर को देने के लिए, उसके बारे में बात करते हैं. सो कोर्ट फर्स्ट गॉट इनटू द डायरेक्ट एविडेंसेस एंड देन द कोर्ट मूव टुवर्ड्स द सर्कमस्टेंशियल एविडेंस. सो इफ वी टॉक अबाउट द डायरेक्ट एविडेंस फर्स्ट, अगर हम लोग डायरेक्ट एविडेंस की बात करें, उसमें कोर्ट ने देखा कि व्हाट आर द डायरेक्ट एविडेंस अवेलेबल हियर. There are 17 witnesses have been examined. There are seizure memo for the discovery weapon via which the crime has been committed, and also some stolen gold ornaments that are there, and some forensic reports that have been attached. But overall, after observing and checking all those things, the direct evidence that has been so caused here, those are not connecting the dots. What I mean to say, those are absolutely flawed and they are not substantial evidence to prove the case, and that's why Supreme Court totally neglected the direct evidence altogether. Now Supreme Court got into the circumstantial evidence. Now why circumstantial is very important in this case? Because the trial court and high court both relied on the circumstantial evidence here to prove the case, and that's why the circumstantial evidence is very much important. Now Supreme Court first reiterated what the circumstantial evidence and what is the importance, what to do in relation to circumstantial evidence. उस मामले में सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने पहले ये बोला कि देखिए, जो सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है, if any case has to be proven in relation to circumstantial evidence, chain of events have to be complete. मतलब जितने डिफरेंट एविडेंसेस गैदर किए गए हैं डिफरेंट इवेंट्स से, फैक्ट से, दैट इज गोइंग टू बी कनेक्टेड एंड मेक ए होल सर्कल ऑफ इट. चेन मस्ट बी कंप्लीट टू प्रूव द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट, दैट इज कि दिस पर्टिकुलर पर्सन हैज कमिटेड दैट क्राइम. So these two things are very important. Now here Supreme Court, after referring this particular point regarding the circumstantial evidence, सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने ये बोला कि देखिए इसमें बर्डन ऑफ प्रूफ प्रोसिक्यूशन के ऊपर बहुत हेवी रहता है टू प्रूव द केस बियॉन्ड रीजनेबल डाउट, द रीजन बीइंग इट्स बेस्ड ऑन द सर्कमस्टेंशियल एविडेंस. नाउ सुप्रीम कोर्ट आफ्टर दैट got into this case as High Court and Trial Court both relied on the circumstantial evidence. And what are the circumstantial evidences here in this case? The Trial Court and the High Court relied on, that is the video confession made by the accused to the police officers. That is the evidence relied on by the High Court and the Trial Court. Now Supreme Court, after getting into this circumstantial evidence, Supreme Court said this is the only evidence based on which the conviction has been done. Now the video record, okay, the confession made to the police, that is done under section 161 of the CRPC. Now section 161, I have already talked to you regarding this section 161 of the CRPC. In that case, one thing I have told you, and Supreme Court talked about the three very important points, that is this confession made to the police officer, is it admissible or not? It's pretty much, you very well understand from the section 25, it's not admissible into the court of law. First. Second thing, Supreme Court talked about the article 20. An accused cannot be compelled to be witness against himself. Second very important thing that Supreme Court talked about, and Supreme Court provided third reasoning why the confession that have been used as the circumstantial evidence here cannot be used as main fulcrum to prove the case against the appellant. Why? The reason being, the case that has been used, VV Giri case, that case is a election petition case and it is a civil procedure. The case was based on the civil procedure, okay, and in that case video recording has been used. It has been held that video recording can be used as corroborative evidence, which here in the criminal case it's a matter of 161 CRPC. It's a totally irrelevant to match that facts and match that particular circumstances with this case circumstances, that what has been used by the trial court and high court to establish the case. So that's the Supreme Court, after mentioning the section 25 of the Indian Evidence Act, article 20 of the Indian Constitution, and the case that trial court, high court referred, they Supreme Court really neglected that case, sidelined that case. This is useless case to use in this particular situation, and Supreme Court then made sure that the appellants must be acquitted in this case. So this is the whole case that I have shared with you. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to share this particular video to your fellow aspirants, and don't forget to subscribe this channel because we come up with the very important legal news and legal updates every week, and also the important event analysis that is very, very helpful for your preparation and knowledge. So next time, thank you, see you soon.